Max Verstappen, for the first time in his career, is on top of the podium at Monza. The first time he's ever been on the podium at the Italian Grand Prix. It was another scintillating race performance from the Flying Dutchman as Red Bull looked imperious once again. Fastest on track, even if we did have a slightly underdramatic finish to this weekend's Grand Prix. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans. Let's recap everything that went down on Sunday at Monza. It was a sluggish Lando Norris off the start-finish line that caused a few problems in the midfield, with the British driver slow out of the blocks from fourth on a very jumbled up grid for the Italian Grand Prix, while fellow countryman George Russell looked to pressure Charles Leclerc as the front two went into turn one. The British driver running wide as he did, however, and settling in behind the race leader. By the time he was through turn one on lap 2, Verstappen was already up into third from 7th on the grid, and by lap 4 he was closing in on George Russell's Mercedes, with DRS helping him, taking second place out of the first chicane at the start of lap 5. Further back, Carlos Sainz on yellow mediums was working his way through the field, already up to 10th by lap 6, as was Sergio Perez, who was up in 13th in his Red Bull, also on the medium tyre. On lap 8, the Mexican driver came in to switch for hard tyres, looking to do a very long stint on the white tyre, leaving the pits, however, with smoke and a few licks of flame coming from his front right brake, although this eventually would cool down and wouldn't affect him too much. Not continuing, however, was what happened to Sebastian Vettel, who pulled to the side of the road on lap 12, bringing out a virtual safety car, so Ferrari looked to bring in their leader for a free pit stop. Leclerc switching from soft to medium tyres, looking to run them until the end, a bold call from the Scuderia. As the monegasque driver came out of the pits, we went green racing once again, with Leclerc holding off Danny Ricciardo into turn 1, the Australian then overtaken by the other Ferrari Carlos Sainz before the back straight 7 corners later on lap 14. Russell and Verstappen, however, stayed out when Leclerc came in, the leader pitting actually 6 laps earlier than Ferrari had initially planned. Russell and Verstappen then made their first stops on lap 24 and 25 respectively, with Leclerc 10 seconds ahead of Verstappen once all of the leaders had made their first tyre changes. Carlos Sainz made his first stop on lap 30, switching from the yellow mediums to the red softs, while his teammate made a second stop just 3 laps later, handing the lead to Verstappen, switching Leclerc back to the softest rubber for the final stint of the race, and with a 19-second gap to overhaul to try and retake the lead. Red Bull decided to pit Sergio Perez for a second time on lap 43, dropping him from 5th to 7th in the order after his hard tyres after pitting on lap 8 just could go on no longer. Lap 47 and there was a bit of a commotion, Danny Ricciardo's engine giving out on him, forcing the McLaren to retire, pulling to the side of the road, which brought out a safety car, with Russell and Sainz the first to pit for fresh rubber, Verstappen coming in as soon as he came round before meeting the safety car, with Leclerc following suit, meaning all of the leaders were on soft tyres for perhaps a grandstand finish. But it wouldn't matter. A delay in moving Ricciardo's stricken car forced the race to finish behind the safety car, much to the Tifosi's frustration, but Max Verstappen was pretty pleased about it. We had a great race. On every compound we were quickest and the deg was very good, so we had a really good race car and basically we were controlling the gap at the end, said Verstappen. Of course the safety car came out, unfortunately we didn't get a restart, but overall we had a really good day. Verstappen was very happy with the early progress he made in the race, making quick work of the first few laps to get in front of the melee in the middle of the pack, helping him to make his first ever appearance on the Monza podium and giving him his 5th race victory in a row. So it finished Verstappen first, Leclerc second, and George Russell third. Carlos Sainz's stellar drive got him 4th place, with Lewis Hamilton 5th, Sergio Perez 6th, Lando Norris 7th, Pierre Gasly 8th, Nick de Vries taking 2 points on his Formula 1 debut in the Williams, and Zhou Guanyu wrapping out the top 10 in the point scoring positions. Charles Leclerc was left frustrated, like many at Monza, that there was no race restart after the Italian Grand Prix finished behind the safety car. Both the Ferrari driver and race leader Max Verstappen pitted for used softs, expecting perhaps an all-out race to the finish in the final few laps after Danny Ricciardo had retired on lap 47, causing the safety car to come out. But after a long period of time trying to move the McLaren from trackside, the Italian Grand Prix was forced to finish behind that safety car. Leclerc had already aired his frustration over team radio when he was informed the race wouldn't be restarting. And speaking after his second place finish, the monegasque driver showed a bit more of his feelings. The end was frustrating. I wish we could have ended up racing, but unfortunately we were second at that place because of what happened before. So it's a shame, but overall I gave it my all and P2 today. I wish I could have won in front of the amazing Tifosi here today, but I just couldn't today. With Verstappen once more ahead of the Ferrari driver for the victory, the Dutchman can now wrap up the driver's title perhaps in Singapore this year. We will keep you informed of all of the permutations that take place in the Drivers' World Championship and of course build up to that race in Singapore here at GPFans.com.